Good afternoon, Rotarians, friends, and guests. My name is Becky Fields, and I am the proud president of the Rotary Club of Tulsa, one of the largest and best Rotary clubs in the world. Thank you, Jerry. We are so honored to have you as our guest here today. Thank you for coming. I have a dream. Those are words that I know that we all know and we've heard many, many times before and have inspired us over the years. Those are words from one of the most well-known speeches given in history. But did you know that Martin Luther King Jr. was advised to not include those in his speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial in 1963? And luckily, King ignored that recommendation. That speech has inspired us, given us the courage to act upon our own dreams. In honor of a great man today, please join me in a moment of silence honoring the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Would you please be seated at this time? We have a very special presentation by Phil Armstrong.
On February 4th, 1968, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. addressed his congregants with a sermon titled, "The Drum Major Instinct." This sermon is an excerpt that he utilized from the writings in the Gospel of Matthew, where he referred to the two brothers, James and John, who asked if he could sit at Jesus' side, on his left and right side, as he enters his kingdom, wanting to have the privilege and the honor of being in positions seated and appearing in positions of power next to Jesus. And so Dr. King used this as an inspiration to warn his congregants and his followers that everyone has in them this instinct to be the one out front. They have in them this instinct to want to be the person that's leading the parade down the street, wanting to get the recognition, wanting to stand there and be seen as important. And so this sermon that he gave was an admonition to them that it's not about being in these positions, but it's about being in the least positions, those in which you serve humankind and serve humanity are the positions that should be vying for. And so this portion of this sermon, the drum major instinct, the most powerful thing about this is, again, it was delivered February the 4th, 1968, 2 months to the day that he was assassinated on April 4th. So let's take a trip down memory lane. Imagine you are in that congregation, not knowing, after you hear these words, that in just 2 months to the day, eerily, his words would come true. The drum major instinct. Every now and then, I think about that day when we will be victimized by what is known as life's final common denominator. And that is something we call death. Every now and then, I think about my own death. Think about my own funeral. I don't think about it in a morbid sense. Every now and then, I wonder what it is that I would want said, and so I leave the word with you this morning. If any of you are around when I have to meet my day, I don't want a long funeral. And if you get somebody to give the eulogy, tell them not to talk too long. I'd like for somebody to say on that day, not to mention that I have a Nobel Peace Prize. It's not important. Tell them not to mention that I have 300 or 400 other awards. That's not important. Tell them not to mention where I went to school. I want somebody to say on that day that Martin Luther King Jr. tried to give his life serving others. I'd like for somebody to say on that day that I did try to clothe those who were naked. I'd like for somebody to say on that day I tried to visit those who were in prison. I want somebody to say that I did try to feed those who were hungry. I want somebody to say on that day that I tried to love and serve humanity. Yes, if you want to call me a drum major, call me a drum major for justice. Call me a drum major for peace. Call me a drum major for righteousness. And all of the other shallow things will not matter. I won't have any money to leave behind. I won't have the fine and luxurious things of life to leave behind. But I want to leave a committed life behind. That's all I have to say. If I can help somebody as I pass along, if I can cheer somebody with a word or a song, if I can show someone they're traveling wrong, then my living is not in vain. If I can do my duty as a Christian ought, if I can bring salvation to a world once wrought, if I can spread the message as the Master taught, then my living is not in vain. Martin Luther King Jr. Thank you.
Phil, that was amazing. Thank you for bringing him to life today, and that's something I'll never forget. That was very inspiring. Past President Hannibal B. Johnson is a graduate of Harvard Law School with undergraduate work at the University of Arkansas. He is an attorney, author, and independent consultant specializing in diversity and inclusion, cultural competence issues, and nonprofit governance. In fact, recently he was recognized for his work in this very area by the Tulsa Regional Chamber. They honored him last week as the 2019 Community Development Partner of the Year. Many of us know a little bit about the work of Hannibal Johnson, but today we're going to learn more. Please help me welcome Hannibal B. Johnson.
So it's my privilege and pleasure to introduce to you Vanessa Adams Harris. Vanessa Adams Harris is a Muskogee Creek American Indian with African American and European ancestry. Among many other engagements and interests, she's an artist and an actor, giving particular interest to the historical accuracy of the African American and indigenous aesthetic. She's performed and or presented both nationally and internationally to great acclaim. She joins us today in the role of Big Mama, titled character in my one-woman play, Big Mama Speaks, a Tulsa race riot survivor story. Vanessa has performed the play locally, nationally, and internationally, including a staging in Caux, Switzerland. Today, Vanessa will give us a snippet of the play, and if you're interested in the full staging of the play, just come see me or see Vanessa after their performance. Big Mama, are you in the house?
said that song. That song is my way of allowing that pressure to lift up right up out of my body. Oh, I miss my mama and papa so. And all those people that's done gone on to glory. I just miss them as all. You know, I was just thinking the other day how good it would feel to be able to call up one of my classmates. Oh, we used to get on that telephone and we'd just get to be talking about such and such, and we'd be trying to remember who did this and who did that, and what was that little boy's name that was so bad in Miss So-and-so's classroom? We get to talking so and laughing, and before you know it, oh my goodness, we would just have us a good conversation. But now I done lived so long, I know more people dead than I do alive, and that's the truth. Oh, like it just happened yesterday. I can see those images of those people standing in front of their yards, standing right there on that hill, standing right there in that curve, right as you're going up Greenwood, going north, that street just curved a little bit, and the brickyard was right there to the side. Oh, I can remember the folks coming out of their houses, walking to church and walking to meetings. Oh, and walking to movie theaters too, because we had movie theaters, we had grocery stores, we had doctor's offices, we had pharmacies. Oh, Greenwood Street was a magnificent street in my memory, and others too. You know, my mama and papa, they come here this way, all the way from, my papa come all the way up from Mississippi. And my mama's people could have passed for white, but she didn't. You see, people come in all different shapes and sizes and colors. So it don't matter whether your mama look like she's a white woman, that's your mama. It don't matter if your papa look like he just come out the fields, but he can read every single thing you put in front of him. And when my papa's voice come out of his body, it was a booming voice. It filled the whole entire house. Oh, we love to hear my papa speak. He would read to us children out of this Bible every night. He would read us a story, and somehow his story would always wind up ending with the children obeying their parents. Oh, it wasn't until me and my brother got much older that we realized what Papa was doing. It made him even more endearing to us children then. You see, folks here in Tulsa, folks here in Oklahoma, well, folks come from all different places. You got Indians, you got Negroes, you got whites. The people come here first on the Indian removal. And with Indian removal comes some black people with them people. And some of them people that come with them Indians was Indians too, but they was mixed with the Indians. You call that Trail of Tears Indian removal. Oh, but that was destructiveness. And then we get to a land run where lands are opened up that was given to the Indians. And them lands was then taken away from the Indians and given to whites for settlement. because, like it or not, just like my mama and papa and all those other folks in Greenwood and the city of Tulsa survived, we are survivors. Glory, glory, hallelujah. When I lay my burden down, I'm going home to be with Jesus. When I lay my burden down.
Good grief. They don't pay me enough to be able to speak after both of those presentations. My heart and my stomach, so many sensations, I'm sure you feel it as well. Thank you, Vanessa, for that moving performance, and Hannibal for your eloquent words as always. Thanks for sharing that with us today. I would love to welcome to the stage today Kevin Murray with a new member introduction, and we'll follow that up with a few club announcements before we dismiss today. Kevin and Mark?
Good afternoon. Hannibal, thank you very much, really. It's my privilege to introduce our newest member today, Mark Burton. And Mark has a really an interesting story. It's a weave of Tulsa and Canada. They don't normally kind of weave together just flawlessly, but just kind of hang with me, and I won't read it as eloquently as our performer just did, but we'll try. Mark attended University of McGill Concordia, started his banking career in the 80s. And interesting story here is he started out cutting celery in a bank cafeteria. So that's how he got his, foothold into the banking industry. Then he worked his way up to the mailroom. But then 30 years later, he was a branch manager for Royal Bank of Canada. Now, somewhere during his career, Mark fell in love with Rotary. And so he was a proud member of a Rotary Club in Canada for 13 years. He's a former club president. He's an assistant governor. So I think we've got a live one here. This is just not your normal recruit. Then he met Terry Burton, right over here. Terry is a lifelong floral designer, and they now own Mrs. DeHaven's, which is the oldest continuously operating floral business in the state of Oklahoma. And I spent some years in the floral industry, so this is great that they've got it. Okay. Along the way, they renovated a 100-year-old house in Brady Heights. Okay. Another thing that Mark did that was really pretty interesting, on his bucket list was visiting all the lower states driving a truck. Okay, so for Melton Truck, he did a year and a half of driving, hit all the states, and I'm imagining driving into New York City in a flatbed and the kind of stressful moments there. So now something that most people won't know about Mark is that he was somewhat of a celebrity in Canada. Okay, he had a TV show. Okay, and so we got to have him open up about this sometime. Yeah, okay. So for 3 years, he and another member of the Chamber. Okay, Mike, you listening up to this? Okay, exactly. That's kind of near and dear to his heart. Okay, so with another Chamber member, he co-hosted a local cable TV show titled Business as Usual, okay, highlighting legal, financial, insurance, and tax strategies. Mark was also a volunteer, medical first responder, and a first aid instructor, and a commander of a ambulance unit. So if anybody gets hurt, I think he knows what to do. And so with that, I wish you'd all stand up and let's welcome our newest member, Mark Burton. We're going to get some photos. You betcha.
Welcome, Mark. It is so great to have you in our club. And at this time, I would like to introduce Tana Scott, Sarge, with some Sarge time.
Hold on, I'm not prepared.
What in the world is happening over here?
And I'm carrier up here, but I gotta read. And so I'm gonna put the charge on everybody out here to come up with a really funny Instagram name for my dog. This is Winnie. So if you follow me on any social media, you're going to see a lot of her. I just got her on Saturday. I haven't had the heart to leave her home alone yet, so she's been living with me at work.
So cute. Bring your dog to Rotary Day. That would be fun.
And that's really all I have to say. This is going to be really short and sweet because, you know, time is money, money's time. Let's get to the fines. All right. Happy Wednesday, everybody, by the way. That was amazing. Thank you, Hannah Bull, for that. That was incredible. So Trisha Kirkstra, are you here today? Yay. Okay, are you ready? She would like to say that she is donating on behalf of all the Rotarians who either hosted students or volunteered their time over the, do I say that or spell it? S-C-R-Y-E, is it? Scry, okay. It's all capital, I don't know, okay. To the Scry weekend. It amazes me, this is what she said. Me too, but this is what she said. It amazes me every year that the generosity of the Rotarians who take in the students overnight, feed them well, show them some Tulsa hospitality, and share the Rotary spirit of international peace and goodwill. With the crazy weather that we had on Friday, some arrivals were delayed as usual. Our Rotarians stepped up and adjusted their schedules. Ken Merchant even went out to the airport in the freezing rain to pick up students who did not get in until 10:30 p.m. So in honor of Luann Bollinger, Paul Cornell, Carol and Curtis Craig, Matt Davis, Jason George, John Howland, Jack McGlumpy, Kevin McManus, Ken Merchant, Lynette Potter's family, Daniel Simone, Jerry Stamper, Johan Talman, and Duff Weddle, a huge thanks and $100 to the foundation. We, along with other clubs, hosted 146 students at 48 homes. Give them a round of applause. Thank you so much. Here are some fun pictures that they sent us. I can't, you had some really good pictures. So this is just all of the students that they hosted. Whose house is this? Paul Cornell's house. So fun. I love that. I think that one's my favorite. I think that's the last one. Oh, we're skipping as Tiffany just emailed me. Ooh, sorry. She said she wasn't going to be able to come today, so we're skipping it. I just said I'm just going to skip over real fast, so that's all I got. Miranda Figueroa, $40. Are you here, Miranda? What? I've only got 3 fines. Okay, well, Miranda wanted to donate $40. She said she didn't really have anything special to say or any pictures, so I just posted her Rotary. Actually, this is her LinkedIn picture, I think. But wish Miranda a happy birthday, and thank you for $40. That's all I got, El Prez.
All right. We have a special side mic announcement about Above and Beyond.
Well, thanks, President Becky. So we're here today for the Above and Beyond Awards. A couple of ex-Sarges have gotten together to raise some money, and our goal is to raise $3,000. So I've teamed up with some other former Sarges Charles Seacrest and David Downing. Why don't you guys come on down? Now, as you, now, as you guys know, the Above and Beyond Awards, the Rotary Club.
Put in the bad row.
Okay. So we award one police officer and one firefighter who has gone above and beyond in their work in helping the community. So I had the idea to have a friendly competition between these ex-Sarges as to who can raise the most money. Now, the goal is that if Charles here can raise $1,000, and if David here can raise $1,000, an anonymous Rotarian will match that for an additional $1,000. That comes to $3,000. So what do you guys think?
Listen, firefighters on a daily basis go out there and take care of lives and property. I mean, look at me. Right now, I could take out a bear engulfed in flames.
Charles, you wouldn't know the business end of a fire hose if it came up behind you and bit you in the...
Hey, come on, guys, come on. All right. Well, I guess it was supposed to be a friendly competition, but it's not going to work. So I'm going to have to referee this thing. So here's what's going to happen. Be on the lookout for your emails. And if you want to support this Sarge, be sure to let the office know that this is who you support. If you want to support this Sarge, you let them know that you want to support this Sarge. And
Firefighting. By the way, you know that you wouldn't even be able to see a crime because your eyes are so glazed over from the donuts you eat.
But you know, there's a cat in a tree. Why don't you just go rescue it?
If that cat was engulfed in flames, I'd do it.
You're killing me, Smalls. Let's do it right now.
It's going down.
What?
It's going down.
Oh, no.
All right, hey, come on, guys. Come on, break it up. This isn't a KU basketball game here. Come on, guys. Back up, back up. All right, so how about this? If you don't trust either of these guys, send it to the office in my name, and I'll award it to whoever deserves it. All right, guys?
Firemen rule.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
You guys, I love the heart behind this, and I am all about it. But do the fire department and police department know that you're out there representing them like this? I just can't think they'd be too pleased about this. So keep this on the DL. I would like to thank the sponsors for this week. The meeting sponsors are Rhonda Hayes and T.C. Blair with Spirit Bank, Elaine Dishman and Greg Boudreau with Regent Bank, Jess Hassel, I'm thinking that's Jeff. Jeff Hassel, John Dale, and Paul Rossler with Gable Gottwalls, and Forrest Cameron with Greater Tulsa Reporter. Thank you to our sponsors. We have two meetings following the program today upstairs. The trustees meeting will meet in room 233, and the International Service Committee will meet in room 231. And in upcoming programs on January 29th, we will have David Stratton and Roger Ramsayer, as well as Mike Neal, to come in and tell us all the exciting things that are happening at the Tulsa Regional Chamber. And if you got to see the inauguration of our very own Roger Ramsayer last week at the Chamber luncheon in front of what'd you say, 5,000 people, Mike? It was a huge crowd, right? They are blowing and going over there, so you definitely want to be here for this. Roger is a charismatic speaker, and I'm sure this will be a fun and entertaining program. Very exciting. And then on February 5th, be sure to invite friends as well. Concert pianist and composer Cristiana Peguero, acclaimed as one of the most gifted musicians of her generation, will grace our stage once again in an encore performance. She has played on stages such as Carnegie Hall and Sydney Opera House, and will once again transform Rotary's Thomas Hall into a program not to miss. In other announcements, we have an MSNI workday coming up. There are flyers on your table. There is one little typo on it. It is Saturday, February 1st, not the 2nd. So that's the 1st of February. Volunteers are always needed and welcome. This is a great time to get out and volunteer as people of action and Rotarians in service for not just our community, but our world. It is from 8 to 12, and sign-up sheets are on your table. In closing, a book recognizing today's program will be presented to our partner in education school, Celia Clinton Elementary. This week's book is Martin's Big Words, Life of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. Thank you all for coming today. Rotarians, you are people of action. Now go change the world.